this was definitely the most, like... This is the only, like, feature-length film of his that I hadn't seen. I mean, I haven't seen some of his, like, documentaries.
I haven't seen... I mean, I haven't seen this, and I haven't seen Inland Empire.
Inland Empire is another one that most people... That was the last feature-length film he
I know
made.
a lot of people don't like it.
It was, like... I don't think I've actually seen it, now that I think about it, but... a lot of people seem to not like it at all. He hasn't made a movie since then. The only thing he's done is, like, Twin Peaks and that weird short he did with the monkey.
With the monkey? Like, I don't know that I enjoyed that, but...
I forgot what it's called. You're talking about the
Netflix, like, weird monkey one.
Yeah, where he interrogates the monkey for murder.
Yeah, and it's all just, like...
With the distorted voice and...
All of it seems like... Yeah, he's obviously doing the voice of the monkey, too.
Have you seen that, Ryne?
No,
oh, God, you would hate it.
Like, yeah. I would like to just sit with him and watch it. And just laugh at Ryan's responses. Because it's like 30 minutes of Lynch talking to a monkey that has... The monkey has, like, a weird, like, stupid Lynch voice. Like, he uses...
Yeah, and he also, like, obviously has, like, superimposed his own mouth onto, like, the monkey's lips to make it look like he's talking, and they're just like, he's interrogating the monkey about murder.
Is it like a real monkey that you just put, like...
Yeah,
it's an actual
monkey, but, like, they
just put the voice actor they were using for the monkey, they used his mouth. They just superimposed it like he said onto.
Is he not the voice actor? I thought he was the voice of the monkey, and
I don't. Maybe he was. I thought it was.
They just sound really similar. That I thought. Anyway, like, yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that you would hate it.
Why? Why does that exist? Like, what's the point? Like, who keeps giving David Lynch money?
Well, Netflix, apparently.
But I mean, like...
That was actually made, like, 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's actually a pretty old thing, and he just, I don't know, like, was now able to put it out. But I don't even know how to describe it. You know those memes that are going around where it's like, it's just a picture, and it's purposely designed for you to not be able to tell what anything in the picture is?
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those.
Really? Or are you fucking with us?
I don't...
Oh, well, they're not, like, super popular, but every now and then they'll come up, and it's, like, it's literally just a picture of a bunch of stuff, like, laid over each other, and
I've seen...
Yeah.
I
That's the best way I can think to describe that movie. That's how I felt. I felt like, after I watched that movie, I felt it was, like, the visual representation. I just I didn't understand why any of it existed.
That's kind of how I feel about most
David Lynch movies.
Yeah. I mean, outside of The Elephant Man, where they're like, just make a movie, but don't be you.
That's his best comedy.
Of course it is.
Elephant Man.
Yeah, the funniest part is when he fucking laid down to go to sleep and died.
Yeah, I guess that was the funniest part of that whole movie.
A real gut buster.
Yeah.
I mean, Blue Velvet's pretty funny, too. I mean, the first time I watched Blue Velvet...
I think he's a really... sorry, I didn't interrupt, but I think he has a really good sense of humor.
No, he does, for sure.
And I don't know. As much as I don't know if I like that monkey shit, like, it was still pretty funny. Like, just looking at it as David Lynch talking to a monkey that he's also voicing, like, that is funny. I don't know.
But yeah, I think the thing that when you said that we should watch it, the one thing that won everybody over was the fact that Nicolas Cage stars in it.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage is the greatest actor of all time and the worst actor of all time.
My favorite part about Nicolas Cage in this movie was he wasn't the craziest part of this movie, which makes no sense to me.
What was the craziest part of the movie to you?
I mean, it's still gonna be the fucking... when it just, like, goes from, like, a sex scene straight into, like, the hostage negotiation, and, like, the lady with the, like, club foot is, like, just, like, yelling at him in the face, and he's just, like, has no emotion. He's like, yep, I might die in this one, but who gives a shit?
I mean, I was sold. I mean, I was already sold, but I was, like, when we started it, like, Nick Cage gets into a fight with somebody within the first 20 seconds and was doing his screaming yell thing and just...
Yeah.
I was like,
He throws a man down a staircase and then beats him bloody with his bare fists.
But was it even a fight? The guy just basically was like, you tried to rape your girlfriend's mom, here's a switchblade, and then the next thing you know, he's just, like, slamming his face into everything and, like, pushing him down the staircase. Like, the guy didn't even fight back. He's just like, well, I guess I'm dead.
And I think Laura Dern in that movie. I think that was the first movie when I was reading some of the trivia on the film that she like decided to break her no nudity clause that she had for all movies, like I guess before that.
She didn't just break it, she like fucking erupted out of it. Like it's like literally every 4 seconds you had to see Laura Dern's tits.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of boobies and nudity in this movie. There's no dicks. I know you're disappointed.
I mean, I'm always disappointed when they don't sprinkle a little cock in there.
I mean, why aren't there more dicks in regular movies? Why are there only
the funny thing
movies?
Is like dick nudity back then would instantly turn it into like either an X-rated or adult or like way past the R rating. So they were just like, well, titties are cool. And then it's, like as we gotten older, like say I think the first movie I ever saw with dicks in it was like the Dewey Cox movie.
There's a dick in that movie?
There's like 4 dicks in that movie.
I haven't seen it since it came out. I don't remember.
I think the first like, I guess I'll say vivid, though that seems like a weird word choice for this. The first time I remember seeing like actual like prolonged shots of a penis in a movie is Forgetting Sarah Marshall at the beginning.
I forgot about that movie because Jason Segel is just like wrote a movie where he's like, I'm gonna put my dick in the movie, and then you completely understand when he's like rocking like a 9-inch hog.
You know, I just I don't think I've actually seen too many movies. Well, maybe I have. Maybe I've seen a lot of movies with penises in them.
I mean, I've seen a lot of shorts on Pornhub.
A lot of shorts.
A lot of short films.
Yeah, I always love hearing about your Pornhub searches. These are one of my favorite highlights from you.
I mean, they always get weird.
Did you? Either of you? When I started reading about Barry Gifford, the guy that wrote Wild at Heart. So he was
the novel, you mean?
Huh?
The novel.
The novel.
Like the book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
David Lynch wrote the screenplay. So.
Right.
Yeah. And he, that guy Barry Gifford is like supposed to be like reminiscent of like the Beat Generation writers. Like he's kind of like wanting to be like, I guess, Burroughs and like Kerouac and all those guys. And I guess he got with Lynch, and Lynch talked to him about like maybe making it, and I think they ended up working on Lost Highway. Like he wrote the screenplay for Lost Highway,
which is also a really shitty film.
I like that movie. I mean, Bill Pullman.
I mean, I love Bill Pullman, but I don't like that movie.
Bill Pullman and what's the other Bill that just died a few years ago?
Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton. I feel like it's the same thing.
Game Over Man.
Game Over Man. I mean, the way I felt about Lost Highway is I only watched the movie because I loved the soundtrack, because it had like Nine Inch Nails' "Perfect Drug" was that was the track that he made for that actual thing.
Don't recall any of the soundtrack to that movie.
He made the Perfect Drug for that movie.
Yeah, Perfect Drug only shows up on like, I mean, he has his own like EP, of course, but like the first iteration that it came on like anything was for Lost Highway. Same with Marilyn Manson wrote like, can't remember, but it was like, I think it was called Apple of Sodom or something for that. So the soundtrack's fucking amazing. So I was like, man, this is such a good soundtrack when I was like 14. Because that's what you listen to when you're 14. And then I was like, I'm going to watch this movie. And the next thing I knew, I was like, I fucking hate this. And it keeps going.
Did you watch it when you were 14 though?
Yeah.
No. Well,
I had a good taste in movies when I was 14.
Sure you did.
I watched The Elephant Man when I was 14.
My life is done.
Basically two adult kids.
You could have shot me, baby.
Plot of the movie, wouldn't you say?
Like, there is no plot to the movie.
Okay, well, there is a plot. It's just a plot that you don't like.
No, it's not a fact. I like the movie. That's the one thing that's crazy about it, is like, out of all the David Lynch films, I think he over-lynched to a point where I enjoyed it, because it was just ridiculous, but there is zero plot.
Okay, well...
I mean, the plot is that...
The mother sends
the mother's trying to get Sailor killed.
After Sailor. Alright, yeah.
And they're trying to evade that.
Like, that's the plot.
They literally have no idea that a hitman's coming for them.
So...
But you just said the plot was that the mother sent a hitman, and they're trying to evade that. But if they don't,
I mean, they're trying to evade the mother. They're running away from their.
But are they really? I mean, like,
Yeah,
because she didn't really run away from the mother. Like,
I mean,
there was no like point where like she was like, I need to get away from my mother because I love this guy and we need to go on a trip. It was literally just like situations happening to progress nothing to make more situations happen. Like, that's the great thing about the film, is it doesn't have a plot. Like, even when he starts like halfway through the movie shoehorning like all of this like Wizard of Oz like shit in there just so he can get to the end where like fucking Glinda the Good Witch comes out after he calls a whole bunch of people faggots.
I'm sorry for referring to you guys as homosexuals. You taught me a valuable lesson after you beat the shit out of me.
Luna!
The best thing about the movie was that he was just pretending to be Elvis, like, the entire time. This is a snakeskin jacket. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think he was fantastic in the film. I think everybody was fantastic in the film, except for, Clubfoot Lady.
I like how,
creeping out.
with Nicolas Cage, whenever we start talking about crazy actors, you're like, the most insane actors ever are Rutger Hauer, Joaquin Phoenix, and Nicolas Cage, and, like, it's...
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage is, like, always gonna be on his own. Like...
Yeah.
I mean, like, that episode of Community when, like, fucking Abed took a class to see is he a good or a bad actor, and literally broke his brain to the point where he's literally reenacting his own version of Nicolas Cage, because you can't decide if he's a good or a bad actor. He's just Nicolas Cage. He's like a force of fucking nature.
Yeah. It's so hard to, like... So I looked, I think a few days ago, at all the movies that he did this past year, and I think he did, like, 8 movies this past year. And the only one that I had really paid attention to was Color in Space, or Color Out of Space, and I still haven't seen it, but yeah, he did...
Well, my favorite
did
thing...
6 movies that nobody's ever fucking heard of in 2019.
Yeah, well, he's got to keep up a spending habit. I was reading something the other day that he literally spent $130 million in 1 year.
On what? Didn't he? I mean, we've talked before about all the odd
Jesus
things
Christ.
that he likes to purchase.
He owns, or I don't know if he still owns, but he owned like 6 or 7 castles. Like, there's no fucking reason to own that many castles.
Like in, like, fucking Norway or something? Like, he just purchases castles?
Like, all over the place. Like, there was a situation where he bought a T-Rex skull from the black market.
he's a Coppola, right?
Yeah, he changed his name because he didn't want to ride the coattails of his uncle or whatever.
I think it was his uncle. Like
Francis Ford is his uncle? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, he bought that skull and then found out that it was stolen and had to give it back, so he just lost all the fucking money on that. Just because he wanted a T-Rex skull. Like, I mean, the man's unhinged and makes great fucking films because of it.
I can't say without... I don't know. I feel like if I added a lot of money, I would try to buy a T-Rex skull.
I mean,
well,
or something just as fucking weird.
Well, I would buy a T-Rex skull and just leave it somewhere, like in the middle of a parking lot, like in a town, and just see what people would do. But I remember telling you, and you, a lot of the time it's hard to get a genuine out loud laugh from you. Like, you'll chuckle, but like you won't like laugh out loud. When I told you that Nick Cage bought a octopus because he thought it would help with his acting, yeah, that's one of the only times I've seen you just start laughing, like,
but it makes
not prompted.
It makes so much fucking sense. Like, it's like that is his mind frame. Like,
What was his what was his reasoning behind that?
The only thing I know is that he thought it would just, like, if he bought an octopus and put it in a tank in one of his houses and just stared at it, it would influence him for whatever part he was working on, or maybe something he was trying to write himself. He just thought it would influence his creativity in some fucking stupid
voicing
way.
an octopus?
Huh?
Was he voicing an octopus in like a kid's movie?
I don't think he's ever.
I don't
like,
think
the only thing he's like really really voice acted was Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I still
guess
haven't
so.
seen that. He plays.
It's so
phenomenal.
fucking good.
He
It's the
plays-
best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, he's like Norse Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like his voice is just Nicolas Cage.
It is.
Like
Yeah.
it's not like he added a little like.
No, I mean, but like, he's got kind of a perfect Noir voice.
Yeah, I mean it works.
Yeah. Yeah, you should watch that. It's really good.
Yeah, it definitely is the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Bobby Peru, Willem Dafoe, his character in the movie?
I mean, I always like Willem Dafoe in like almost everything.
Yeah, he's
Especially Antichrist.
I've never seen the movie. I just
Because
don't.
you-
I'm not gonna watch it because I think Lars Von Trier is a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah, you said that he said you don't like him because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you hated him when he admitted that he can't make movies without drugs, without being on drugs.
Well, he quit drinking and drugs and everything, and like I guess he got in the program or whatever, and then he relapsed and was basically just like, it's because I can't be my artistic self while not being a drunk. I was just like, just be a drunk. I mean, like, no one gives a shit about your art anyway. Like it. None of his movies make sense.
I think plenty of people give a shit about his art.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are stupid, so I can't really stop that. I mean, it's just like how people love that, like, God, who's that guy who did, like, Brown Bunny and Buffalo 66?
Vincent Gallo.
Yeah,
whatever.
like, he's a useless human being, too. Like, I mean, his movies are useless. I watched Buffalo 66 or whatever.
I haven't seen any of his stuff, so I can't say one way or the other. But,
I mean, in Brown Bunny, he literally wrote a part for his girlfriend, Chloe Sevigny, or Sevigny, or whatever.
To give him a
fucking-
blowjob.
Yeah,
or
just to
something.
give him a fucking blowjob. Like, and like, literally, she's in the movie for maybe like 10 minutes, sucks his dick, he jizzes in her throat, and then he walks out the fucking door. Like, that's how he treated his girlfriend in his artistic art film. Like, I mean, like, fuck off.
Yeah, he got really upset when Roger Ebert said he made one of the worst movies of all time.
Every movie I've watched, the two movies that he's made, like, I mean, I'm sure he's made more, but like those two movies are fucking useless. And the only reason I watched Buffalo 66 is because when I was like 13, I had a fucking crush on Christina Ricci, and I was hoping she'd get naked in that film. So I watched 2 hours of that god awful film and still got no tits.
you know, like, Mr. Skin
Still got
exists,
no
right?
tits.
You could have just looked it up. Save yourself 2 hours.
You guys know I'm older than you, so
You're only like 4 years older than me.
Yeah, but that meant like 56K modems were back then, so yeah. I'm not spending like a fucking hour and a half to see some tits.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to hear.
I mean, you spent 2 hours and didn't see any.
Yeah. So I make bad decisions.
Say fuck me.
Say fuck me.
Like it. Until your fucking heart out go!
See, that's great acting right there. Just choking someone and screaming "fuck me" at them, like, that's great.
Yeah, you can win an AVN for that.
Say fuck me. Say fuck me. And then I'll leave.
How many times do you think David Lynch made him do that?
Honestly, like I feel like that could easily be a one take. Like he probably was just like, open the door and was like, Willem, just be Willem. With bad teeth.
Whispers. Say it. Say it. Say it.
That's so weird.
Again, not the weirdest part of the movie.
And of course he tries to rape her.
Even though he didn't even want to rape her, he just wanted to make her want him for some reason.
I mean,
The best scene to me was either when Johnny was being tortured in the basement by those people, and those up close shots with the weird lighting and just the overall like weird like visceral feeling that it gave. It made me really uncomfortable, and that's what I look for
But that
when
was,
I watch David Lynch movies.
that's the funny thing. That's my least favorite scene in the whole fucking
I
movie.
mean, the best scene to me, that was just saying I liked that one, but the best scene to me was when he raises his hand up in the air, makes the band stop, and calls the guy out and talks about his jacket. That was my favorite.
That's a great scene, but honestly, the best part of the movie is Christmas Dale.
Yeah, dude, I totally forgot about that. that is those those shots of him being like, I'm making lunch, or like what else does he do? Like
so like basically like they're having sex, and I guess it's like after sex, and then out of nowhere she's like just goes off on a tangent about her like uncle Dell, who they called Christmas Dale.
Yeah, I remember.
But the funny thing is he does like I don't know why they called him Christmas Dale, because like only a tiny bit of that time was he like Santa Claus man.
Is it Dale or Dell?
I think it's Dell, like Dell.
Okay.
But
I can look it up. Hold on.
But that's my favorite part, because it's just like they're like, we called him Christmas Dale, and which makes sense in the first little bit where he's just like, I hate to tell you this, but Christmas isn't going to be for another 6 months, and then he freaks the fuck out and like tries to do something, but he then like his insanity like manifests in different ways. So he goes from Christmas Dale to thinking a glove is an alien and trying to kill him, to then making sandwiches all through the night. And then the best part of the ending of the circle arc of his like thing is putting a cockroach on his butthole and dancing and then never being seen again. Like, best part of the whole fucking movie is just Crispin Glover. Like, I can watch
Told him it was summertime and Christmas was 6 months off.
I'm gonna be real, it's the fucking best part of the movie. It's so fucking good.
Say that he felt those men with black rubber gloves was following him around. Dale said that trust and the spirit of Christmas was destroyed by ideas being controlled by aliens wearing black gloves.
That's so... Crispin Glover fit that perfectly.
That's the funny thing is, like, when the, like, credits at the beginning, because I like those old movies where the credits start at the beginning so you know what you're getting into. When I saw Crispin Glover, and I was like, I don't ever remember him, like, being a part of this movie. Like no one ever said, like, you know, with Crispin Glover until, like, I guess he got famous later. But, like, they made an entire little section just for Crispin Glover, and he knocked it out of the fucking park.
These aliens would get Dale to do all kinds of things. Then he'd carry on about the weather. Talk about how rain falls controlled by aliens living on Earth. Aunt Rudy told Dale that one day he would realize that the alien wearing the black gloves was him, and him alone.
It sounds like old Dale's more than just a little bit confused, Peanut.
But then I just now realized, that since we just rewatched that, like, why did the mom fuck him up? Or was that the aunt that she said? Either one, like, but why would you provoke him and be like, it was going to be you the whole time? It's like, and then the yelling and screaming.
I mean, it's a surreal David Lynch movie. You can't view it through the
logic
realism lens. Like, logic doesn't exist in David Lynch films.
I mean, neither does plot.
It's a plot. It's just not the best plot. It's not the most complicated.
But
plot.
I'm still gonna always disagree with that. There is no plot to this movie. Like, it's just a string of situations, and like, it's just like how Blue Velvet. There was no real fucking plot in that movie.
I mean, I can tell you what the plot is in that movie.
Tell me.
It's him finding that ear and then trying to find out the story behind it, and that's the plot.
That's not a plot.
Well, what?
Why? How?
How is it not a plot?
What is a
plot has, like, you know, structure, like reasoning, like not just going and finding an ear, and then the next thing is just crazy shit happening. If I remember correctly, the ear didn't even have anything to do with the people he encountered.
Yeah, it did. It was her husband's ear.
Whatever. It's still... I will at least give that one tiny bit more of a plot.
Okay.
But
it's a bare bones, like, just very minimal plot. I mean, there's not, like...
I just wish you would accept the fact that the reason you're watching a David Lynch film is not because of his story structure, the ending, the middle, the beginning, the antagonist, the protagonist. You're watching it because a lot of fucking weird shit's gonna happen.
Well, yeah.
And most of the time will not correlate. Like the time in this movie where they're at the hotel and they show old dude just vacuuming. And then, out of nowhere, it's like, we need to talk to you about the fact that your boyfriend/investigator disappeared. And why does the manager have crutches? Why does he have crutches and a broken foot? There's no reason
Dude,
for
I
it.
told you, it's a representation of David Lynch's childhood.
You're just making that shit up.
No, he said it.
And then the old dude is in the background.
You turn your shit off.
We're doing an important podcast.
Yeah. You know how many people are gonna listen to this?
Millions.
At least
Fucking asshole.
3.
Now I don't even know what I was talking about because you ruined my life.
It's okay. It's okay. We don't need you to talk shit anymore on David Lynch. We're gonna keep watching David Lynch movies. This is just gonna be a David Lynch podcast. We're changing that now, and you can't quit. You have to just sit here and take it.
You signed a contract, alright?
Motherfucker.
I knew I shouldn't use my semen for that contract.
No one asked you to do that.
You signed in semen. Is that what?
It's the
You
most,
insisted on it.
it's the
Seaman.
most binding agent I have.
And we all told you how weird it made us feel, but you nevertheless, you persisted.
Okay, did you think, like, the part where... Did you think it was kind of stupid when Bobby Peru gets shot and then falls on the barrel of his own shotgun and blows his head off?
No, I fucking love that scene.
I mean, it was cool. Like, it was great practical effects, the blood spatter. It was really fun. It's just like...
But I don't think he...
How do you fall like that?
I don't think he fell on it. I think he shot himself in the head because he was smiling when he went down.
So you think he did it on purpose?
Yeah, I mean...
No,
he
I
got, like,
thought it was an accident. He just fell on it.
I mean, what I got out of it is, like, every time he got shot, he kept smiling more and more and more. And then when he, like, laid down on his feet, like, the gun was perfectly there. So, like, unless he just fell and it went bloob, that would make more sense. But it looked like he actually, like, blew his own head off. Because he's fucking insane.
Shot of him walking, and there's 3 guys behind him tailing him, and they're very close to him, and that's when he... I guess they all come out from all directions. It's like an old, like, almost...
It was pretty much like one of those, like, when he was walking, like, another person would come into frame, and then they slowly all, like, circled him.
See, yeah, like, this is, like, almost like a Western. Like, the way that they approach him from all directions. I do love the score to this movie.
I mean, most of it's just Chris Isaac's song without the lyrics.
And here it is. Pulls out his cigarette first.
What do you faggots want?
Best line of the whole movie.
I mean,
Right there.
it was great because it came out of nowhere and made no sense.
It's pretty good. I think it's a close second to the guy that just quacks.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I forgot the quack guy.
Would that be like... I don't we always talk about... We've talked about the weird voices that Lynch likes to use in everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think it's more like... Are you starting to look at it like, this is stupid, or is it just weird to you, or either of you?
I think it's both.
I think it's kind of like now, it's just kind of like... I just think it's kind of dumb when he does that.
I think sometimes it works, but in this instance, I don't really understand why that happened.
The only time he used it in Wild at Heart was when they were sitting at the bar and that random guy with the crazy hair just starts talking and it's like Donald Duck speaking. That's the only time I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like... Yeah, I just don't know what that was for anyway. I mean, there was no reason for it. It was just... It's like a fucking, like, sprinkle of, like, crazy.
I told you it's a representation of his first girlfriend.
Now you're just making shit up. You know we're gonna have to, like, watch that whole, like, stupid Glinda the Good Witch shit.
What?
Like, the Glinda the Good Witch, like, if you would have kept going, it would just
Oh,
been, like,
yeah.
Glinda coming
Yeah,
back.
I forgot about that. There's like so many nods to the Wizard of Oz, like in the movie. There's
Yeah.
at least like
Well,
There's less than 10 probably, but that's still.
The funny thing is, it only starts off like the first like half of the movie. The only nod you get from it is like she's like, we're like on a yellow brick road, and then they don't talk about it again. And then like the last like 40 minutes of the movie is just like reference. I think like he was like halfway through the movie and he was just like, I got some. We're gonna just sneak the shit into this film a lot. Because it just came out of nowhere. Even, like, Nicolas Cage at the end, he's like, we're at the end of the... I can't even do that fucking shitty Elvis voice, but, like, Yellow Brick Road. And then Glinda the Good Witch. And, like, also I love, like, how, like, they didn't say the title of the movie until, like, halfway through the movie, and then they said it 4 times. He's like, baby, I'm wild at heart.
Doesn't she, like, click her red heels, too, like, after...
After she almost gets, like, sexually assaulted by Willem Dafoe's bad teeth.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, she does that, but I just love Glinda the Good Witch, where she's just like, you should be going after her, and he's like, baby, I'm wild at heart. And she's like, well, if you're really wild at heart, you'd go after her, and he's like, you got a point there. Like, that makes it... I like the movie. I'm still gonna say I like the movie, but it has no fucking direction.
If you say plot one more time, I'm gonna scream.
I said direction.
Okay.
I changed it from plot. But there was no direction to the film. Like, I mean, it was just like a free-for-all of, like, just pretty good actors and then great actors just being insane. And it has no plot.
we should write Ryne a new plot. We're gonna give you a new story, a new background. You're gonna start from scratch.
Okay, I'll be Christmas Dale.
You'll be Christmas Dale. And you'll start screaming about making sandwiches while wearing a big suit at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that suit was way too big for Crispin Glover.
I've honestly never seen him in anything other than Back to the Future, this, and that movie Willard where he controls rats.
Have you seen the remake of Alice in Wonderland?
No.
He plays the, I guess, the Heart Knight, or the Knight of Hearts.
That sounds kind of...
It's weird. Like, I mean, it's basically just him with, like, a mullet and,
Which
like...
Alice in Wonderland?
The
The
first
Johnny
one.
Depp one?
Yeah.
No. The Tim Burton shit.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Fucking, I hate Tim Burton.
Yeah, Tim Burton's great.
Tim Burton was great until we got tired of watching Tim Burton.
I mean...
I think the only movie I like by him is Big Fish.
I remember that movie, but I remember enjoying it, but not loving it.
I liked that Obi-Wan was in it.
You're just gonna call him Obi-Wan because he's about to get his own show.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, he's forever, like... Of course he's forever immortalized in Star Wars, but prequel memes on Reddit...
I'm just really, really glad that Obi-Wan got over his heroin addiction in Scotland.
What? Oh, in Train Spotting. It's like, I don't think that heroin exists in the Galactic Republic of Star Wars.
I'm sure something like it does.
Yeah, I'm sure something does. It's like, you know...
Death sticks.
Midi-chlorians.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
God.
Yeah, this probably, I don't know, like, as far as, like, my favorite Lynch movies, it will probably always be Blue Velvet or Mulholland Drive, but I really liked this.
I still haven't seen Mulholland
I
Drive.
really liked it.
I don't
I don't
know if he would like Mulholland Drive.
I think...
Isn't there like a green fairy of some sort in there?
No. Man. I would like to watch it with you, but I'm not going to make you do it, obviously.
I mean, I'll watch
and
pretty
I
much
think...
anything.
If it has a plot.
No, I mean, I've watched Blue Velvet with you. I've watched Wild at Heart with you.
I honestly could see you going either way on that. On Mulholland Drive.
I mean, I'm just now realizing
I think there's parts of it that you would really love.
Really? But yeah, I just realized that, like, for a person that doesn't really like David Lynch, I've seen a lot of fucking David Lynch films. Even on my own accord, which is ridiculous. But...
I mean, better than... At least you've given him, like... You can say you've given him ample opportunities.
And
like,
I still think, like...
You definitely don't have an uninformed opinion on him.
Yeah, I mean, I do still like some of his things.
Yeah.
But, oh god, Eraserhead. Never mind. God, I fucking hate that fucking movie.
I don't want to talk to you about Eraserhead anymore.
I don't want to talk to anybody about Eraserhead anymore.
It's been like 3 years.
We'll do our own episode
just
without him
keeps
about
talking
Eraserhead.
About how much he hates Eraserhead every time.
I mean, I can
bring
totally
up
understand
David
how someone
Lynch.
would
I
hate that
don't
movie.
understand. I don't understand him, or what he says, or
like-
what he likes. I don't care. I don't
This
want to
is-
hear anything you're saying.
This is my funny thing. Like, I kind of have like PTSD about Eraserhead, like because like
Oh yeah, you told me this the other day.
yeah, I was like, I was supposed to be playing a game of Risk with friends, and we always like put a good movie on, like because Risk takes forever to play.
Mm-hmm.
And we just decided, because I was the only one that hadn't seen Eraserhead, and we watched the movie. I couldn't even focus on the game of Risk because of how much I viscerally hated that film.
If there's any movie that is not the movie to just put on for friends, it's that fucking movie. And like, I 100% understand that. Like, I don't think I would have liked Eraserhead if my first experience of it had been someone throwing it on while we were playing a board game.
Yeah, it was just so fucking bad.
I
Like,
mean,
that's just not
I could see.
that's not a movie that you like. That's a movie. I don't know, man. That shit's. You have to like come across that particular movie like on your own. I think that's not something like you show someone.
It kind of reminds me of like a friend that was on a first date, and they went back to his house, and she was like, "I've never seen Kids before."
Oh my god.
I've
So
never
you-
seen that either.
So he put it on, and they never went on another date again because it's all about having sex and getting AIDS.
I was gonna, if we started talking about coronavirus or whatever, and if we got to the point where we talked about how you stayed home for like a month, I was just gonna say it was because you had AIDS.
I mean, I don't remember having AIDS, but you never know. It's a sneaky disease.
Well, I mean, they can cure it now or treat it. One of those two.
They've been able to treat it.
Well, I don't know.
Well, if you're Magic Johnson,
I was gonna say
If you're a basketball player.
if you're filthy rich.
Isn't it just $200,000 injected into?
Yeah,
the veins?
I'm actually like sort of upset for you that was the first encounter with that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not. It's just I can't count the number of like posts I've read online about people trying to show people who haven't seen Eraserhead in like it's in a group setting, and it never works. It just I don't know. It's not.
I've never actually watched it with anybody, so I really.
Yeah, I've only ever. Well, the last time I think the Belcourt showed it at midnight like a year or two ago, and I went with friends that had all already seen it, and we just like took a bunch of edibles and went to see the movie, and it was great. I loved it, but like I would not take anyone to see that like for the first time. I would like recommend it and be like, hey, you should watch this on your own. But
I don't think I would ever actually like. To somebody that's like a surface level like fan of like cinema and movies, I would never recommend a David Lynch film to them because it would make them feel uncomfortable or scared to where they want to turn it off depending on which movie it was. Like it's like an acquired taste as far as
he's
like
very
filmmaking.
not palatable for
No,
like
yeah,
the week.
I mean-
Like you gotta have like watched a lot of weird shit to be like.
Mhm.
I think it's time for a David Lynch experience.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what my first was Eraserhead my first.
Eraserhead was my first.
It was either. Yeah, I think it was that, and then Mulholland Drive, which weirdly is my grandmother's favorite movie of all time.
That's weird.
Yeah, she loves it.
Like
Like,
the first time you told me that, I was like, that doesn't add up.
no,
That doesn't make any
I know
sense.
her, and I've known her my whole life, and it doesn't add up still. And we watch it together several times, and I still don't really understand why she loved it so much. I mean, I really love it, but like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, and also led to one of the worst movie watching experiences I've ever had.
Oh wait, say it. You gotta say it.
I know. So my first time watching Blue Velvet was with my grandmother because we
a good
both liked
story.
Mulholland Drive, and we were like, let's watch more Lynch, and it's just an experience I don't ever want to relive. I somehow came out of that enjoying the movie, but
Grandma didn't.
no.
My mother doesn't watch movies or television or anything, so I've never had a conversation about... Actually, her favorite movie is Prancer from like 1993 that stars Sam Elliott. That's the only movie I think she could talk about extensively, though. Like, she could tell you the plot, like all the plot points within minutes.
My mom's favorite movie is Last of the Mohicans.
With the one with Daniel Day-Lewis or whatever. Gotcha.
Last of the Night.
I watched that.
No, that's... Is that... Oh, yeah, that's right. Dances with Wolves is Costner, right?
Yeah. John Cusack or Kevin Costner, one of those two.
I think it's Costner.
It's Costner.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I know.
Costner.
I'm just saying, like, there's no difference in those two people.
What the fuck are you
What?
talking about? There's huge differences. Cusack is like...
Yeah, one made
Ironically-
Waterworld and the other didn't.
Did you say Waterworld?
Yeah.
Hey, it's a joke that didn't land. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know, and
I'm
now we're
sorry.
giving you shit for it.
Yeah, because we really, really fucking love both of those people.
John Cusack.
Cusack.
John Cusack.
The only thing I really know about John Cusack really is
Cusack.
like every time I got broken up with, fucking Comedy Central seemed to be playing like a marathon of High Fidelity, so I saw the movie like 100 fucking times.
Yeah.
While we're still slightly on the topic of relatives' favorite movies, I really like my mom's favorite movie is Tombstone.
That's a good movie.
It's
It's a good movie, but if you knew my mother, I don't think, again, it doesn't make any sense to me why she likes it. She used to be a fucking preacher,
I mean,
and
but it's Tombstone.
I don't know, it's great, but like,
I mean, preachers.
I remember
are
as a
into some
kid-
pretty weird stuff.
okay,
I
that's
mean,
priests. There's a difference.
Okay.
I think it'd be
It's
weirder for
strictly
like favorite
Catholics.
movie was something like really fucked up, like your grandma.
Mulholland Drive's not that fucked up. I mean, it is, but like not in the way Blue Velvet is fucked up.
Like if your mom's favorite movie is Antichrist, I think that'd be fucking weird.
Yeah, no, it would be. She would never watch that though.
Neither will I.
Is like the reality that we create for ourselves versus the way that world actually is. And I think Mulholland Drive is maybe the most he's ever focused on that theme, but I think I see that a lot in this. Like, that's the snakeskin jacket line to me is like summed up pretty well in that. Like, that's it's very literal, and I think it's that way because like that's literally how Sailor is. He's defining his world, or how he presents himself to the world through this fucking snakeskin jacket that he has on. And a lot of, I don't know, that's what's what Mulholland Drive, it's basically just like, we all do it, like we all try to create our own reality, and then it's just that coming to, clashing with like the fact that this reality we've created for ourselves oftentimes isn't true, and we're deluding ourselves, and how when that happens, a lot of times it can be really catastrophic and emotionally like scarring and horrifying.
I can see that. I mean, I think definitely you just made David Lynch sound much more deep.
I mean, yeah, I could be. I don't know.
I don't even know what you
I mean, he
said.
won't. What do you mean?
I wasn't listening. Sorry. No,
But I can see,
was
I can see what you're talking about, especially with the snake-in jacket, because like,
I think it's just like a lot of like objective reality versus like, or I don't know. That's just that's how I feel like with Eraserhead. Like,
it's got, like, we've talked about it before. It's got that surreal like quality to it. Everything seems dreamlike in all Lynch movies, except for probably Eraserhead. That one's just like a completely different like feeling of just like.
well, I mean, he made that movie because he was afraid about being a father.
Yeah, that was one thing. I mean, that was his. Eraserhead is his. Like, it's just an exaggerated version of Pittsburgh and how shitty it is. Like, being an industry town and just looking like garbage. Like, just the black and white, like, really helps, like, convey that sort of aesthetic that he wanted.
is that where he's from?
I don't think he's from there. I think he just moved there went to art school and just ended up, I don't know his whole story, but
I can't just get over, like, I've seen so many scary horror movies and like fucked up shit, and like honestly, Eraserhead, parts of that movie still are embedded in the back of my head as the most disgusting, creepiest scariest fucking thing.
I thought you would like the, for example, the dinner scene in Eraserhead where it like shows the like juice shooting out of the turkey or whatever.
Yeah.
Like some of those like really disgust. Like you're usually a big fan of practical effects, so I thought that you would like appreciate that.
The movie is disturbing, in the fact of like, just like it makes me think like, what the fuck is wrong with David Lynch? Like the moon creeps me the fuck out. The fucking girl with the big cheeks, with the craters in her cheeks.
And the one that lives in the radiator.
Yeah. Like, that right there is probably one of the fucking most, like, disturbing things I've ever seen. And I don't know why. It's just something about her. Like, if she was in anywhere near me, I would fucking run.
Have you seen The Art Life? Do you know what that is? Okay, so that's a David Lynch documentary that came out, like, 4 years ago. That it's mostly centered around him just talking about himself, but it's his life from when he was born. It covers his life from when he was born up until he made Eraserhead. So he's talking about everything that was going on in between those two times. So he talks about like he had a really good childhood. Like he had a family that loved him. I mean, he had like 50s parents that were kind of, different than ours, of course, just stern but still loving. Like, but he just never quite, like, he told stories about just different things happening to him that really, like, scarred him. So that scene in Blue Velvet where, what's her name, the insane woman that you always talk about, Ron?
No, I can't remember her name.
Hold on, I'll find it.
Something French.
Isabelle Rossellini?
Yeah,
that's her. Where she walks out just butt-ass naked with, like, cuts and bruises all over her. He saw a woman with his brother when they were kids. They were playing in the neighborhood, like, late at night, and they saw this woman just walk out butt-ass naked, like, groping her own, like, breasts, tits, like, screaming, "My nipples hurt." So seeing something like that in the middle of the night when you're, like, 8 years old kind of fucks with you, maybe, a little bit, but...
That was my every night when I was 8 years old.
That's every day. But yeah, there was a lot of, like, he tries to, like, to the best of his ability, give you some sort of clue as to why he is the way he is in that documentary. And you would probably like it just because of it. It's not a movie of his, it's just him. It shows him doing his art and stuff like that. You'd probably like that.
I mean, I probably would. I mean, like, that's the thing about David Lynch, like, that is the difference between how I feel about Lars Von Trier. It's like, I feel like David Lynch, I respect him as a human being. Even if I don't like a lot of his shit, I respect his art. I do not respect Lars Von Trier.
I remember you talking about he's, like, more of just, like, a baby. Like, he just whines about everything all the time.
Like, the thing is he's a baby. He's all about shock and, like...
He's an edgelord. Like...
Edgelord.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what he's the cinematic equivalent of that. I won't say so much in his movies, just because I don't think his movies are, like, that fucking shocking compared to, like, the way some people react to them. I think if you haven't seen, like, some stuff, like, then yeah, it can be really... I don't know what the word is, but... like, jarring, but I don't think there's anything in his movies that are, like so fucking horrible. I said I haven't seen The House that Jack Built.
See, that's the only one I'm actually want to watch. Is that one of the
Dillon's?
It's Matt Dillon, and it's like, it basically just follows...
He's a serial killer.
A serial killer throughout the years.
That's the funny thing, is like...
and, like, a series of, like, grisly murders, and then it's also, like, a Dante's Peak, like, allegory. Is that the thing? Dante's Peak
about the fucking...
not the volcano.
You're talking about Dante's Inferno.
For Dante's Inferno.
Not the shitty volcano.
Now that I bring that up, though...
That's a good one.
Yeah, we can talk about that another day, and that piece of shit movie. Go ahead.
I'm just one of the unintentionally funniest scenes in all of movies for me is when they're like the grandma in the boat in the lava lake. Jesus Christ! I'm like, even when I was a kid, I just howled laughing.
Oh yeah, it made me laugh so much.
And I think it's oh my god, it's so funny. Is that Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, that one actually. Like, here's the thing. It's
wasn't he in another?
No. That's the weird part about that era. So
There's 2 volcano movies.
There's 2 volcano movies that came out at the same time.
Don't they speak and
Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones, and then there was also 2 meteor movies. There was Deep Impact and Armageddon at the same time.
Deep Impact rules.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, out of those 2 movies, each one of them
rules.
had a better one.
Armageddon's, both of those are pretty alright.
No, Armageddon. The only thing great about Armageddon is the fucking commentary by Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I remember you showed me that.
Oh my god, it's fucking. He literally is like, yeah.
Is that Bay? That's Michael Bay.
It is Michael Bay.
Why don't we
I think it's fine.
I think we should watch. I do want to see the house that Jack built, just because I want to see it, but I don't think I'm gonna like it.
I don't really either. I don't know.
Did you watch it?
I've seen part of it, like the first quarter of it, maybe.
Is it Von Trier?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's because like a lot of reviewers that I was watching said it's like, you can tell it's Lars Von Trier, but it actually has like a point, unlike some of his films, which is just like shock and awe.
But that's the thing, is I don't feel like any of his films are really shock and awe. Like, I mean,
well, I mean the fact that he literally uses like actual sex.
oh, I mean, I guess that's shocking if you're 12, but
Yeah, but I mean like
I'm 12.
but you're looking at a film like all other films like they simulate the aspect of sex.
right, yeah.
And he actually goes in for full penetration.
Well,
which
that's
it's not shocking to me. I just find it to be.
no. I'm not saying it is shocking to you. I just like.
But I can see like that's how like that's another reason why I hate him is because like he's like basically I'm gonna make pornography, and that's gonna be like the fringe weird thing about my movie, and it's just like. I don't find it shocking or weird or creepy that people are having sex. I'm finding it more weird that he's using it as a catalyst to like make his movie better. And that's the reason I don't respect him, is because like I feel like
I don't think that he explicitly is, though. I think that has been put on to his movies by other people. Like I don't think he's like, oh man, like this dick going in a pussy is really gonna rile them up. Like,
yeah, but I mean like if it was like a one-off like Antichrist, like yeah, he did that. But then he made the Nymphomaniac like series, and like it's something that he.
Did you watch them?
No, I don't want to watch them.
They're actually pretty good.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I'd rather watch regular porn.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say, "Why? I've seen porn. I don't need to watch that."
I mean, the point of it is not. I mean, I guess that it sounds silly for me to say the point of it is not to see people fucking, but
It's called Nymphomaniac.
yeah, it's about a nymphomaniac though, and
But it's just not. There's no point. That's my problem. There's no point. There's no point to that movie. There's no reason.
Seen
for
it. You don't. There is.
I'm sure there's like a subplot of something weird in it that like. But I mean like, I have issues with people that like.
It's her like recounting her experiences from like her like adolescence, like when she goes from like adolescence to like a sexual being, and then like her exploration of that throughout the different stages of her life. And she is basically, the movie starts off with like what's his name? Fucking the guy from Thor.
Chris Hemsworth?
No, not Thor himself. The
I was like, what the fuck?
the fucking Swedish scientist. He was the fucking bad guy in
Oh, yeah,
Girl with the Dragon
Skarsgård.
Tattoo. Yeah,
Stellan.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
Are they related?
Myself getting hard.
Are they related?
What?
Is he related to the other Skarsgårds?
He's the dad.
Oh, he literally is. Oh,
Yeah, he's Daddy
I
Skarsgård.
just assumed like that was like one of those like Danish names or whatever, Swedish names that's just like super
he
common.
was the first one to be like a famous actor, and like kind of like his kids just followed in his footsteps, and they're all fucking good.
Yeah, they're all
He
really
has
good actors.
millions of kids.
God. So like basically he finds her like in an alley behind his house, and she's been like not raped but like beaten up basically, and he like takes her in, and then they just get to talking, and like that sort of comes up somehow. I can't remember exactly how, and then like she's basically just recounting her experiences, and she like I think views herself as a bad person because of her like addiction to sex, and it's sort of in a way he's sort of like playing therapist for her, but like I don't know. I found it interesting.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I've never seen one Lars Von Trier movie. using the term loosely, I feel like he's an art fag. Like, just like, I mean, like, it's just...
No, it's perfect.
People just like that just annoy the shit out of me, and I kind of refuse to, like, give him my time of day.
I mean, I think he probably definitely thinks he's a lot smarter than he actually is, but I think occasionally he stumbles on, like, moments of, like, I don't know, like, of just, like, deep and, like, thoughtful kind of exploration of, like, humanity.
I feel like it might be just the people ad-libbing off of his script.
It could be. I mean, it very well could be. But, like...